Okay. Respected guest speakers, panel speakers, organizers, and participants, namaste and good afternoon. I'm Sujita Dhakal, founder and executive member of Global Youth Biodiversity Network, Nepal. Firstly, I'm very thankful to the organizers of the webinar, Land Our Future, and Krisak Dristi Association, Nepal. So today, I feel very elated to be one of the panel speakers, and I'll be talking about Sustainable Development Goal number 15, that is life on land, during my session. For your kind information, I'll be using Pecha Kucha type of format for my presentation today. So I'd like to start. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, Sustainable Development, adopted by United Nations member states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace, prosperity for people, planet, now and into the future as well. It calls for an urgent action by all countries, be it developed or developing countries, in a global partnership, and they recognize all the strategies. We should go hand in hand. So we'll be talking about Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which is life on land, which focuses on protect, restore, promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity losses. So I would like to explain some quick figures. Around 1.6 billion people depend on forests for their livelihoods. Forests are home to almost 80% of terrestrial species of animals, plants, and insects. 2.6 billion people depend directly on agriculture for living, and so on. Biodiversity and ecosystem. The intrinsic value of biological diversity, as well as ecological, genetic, social, economic, scientific, educational, cultural, recreational, and aesthetic values of biodiversity, and its critical role in maintaining ecosystems that provides essential services, which are critical foundations for sustainable development and human well-being, is emphasized in goal number 15. The direct link between forest and SDGs is goal number 15 of Sustainable Development Goals. Life on land is the SDG most obviously linked to forests, and halting deforestation by 2020 is central to its success. Forests have a significant role in reducing the risk of natural disasters, including floods, droughts, landslides, and other extreme events. At a global level, forests also mitigate climate change through carbon sequestration, contribute to the balance of ecosystem, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and humidity in air, and protect watersheds, which supply 75% of fresh water worldwide. Desertification, land degradation, and drought. Sustainable development focuses on the linkages between sustainable management of planet's natural resources and social and economic development, as well as on strengthening cooperation on desertification, dust storms, land degradation, and drought, and promote resilience of disaster risk reduction. In this context, member states expressed their concern on the challenges posed by sustainable development by desertification, land degradation, drought, especially for Africa, LDCs and LLDCs. Now I'd like to talk about some challenges and threats. Human life depends on Earth as much as the ocean for sustenance and livelihoods. Plant life provides 80% of the human diet, and we rely on agriculture as important economic resources. Forests cover almost 30% of the Earth's surface, and every year it's estimated that 18 million acres of forest, which is roughly the size of country of Panama, are lost each year, according to a data by FAO. From 2000 to 2015, More than one-fifth of the Earth's total land area was degraded, largely due to human-induced processes like desertification, cropland expansion, and urbanization. It is also estimated that 15% of greenhouse gas emissions came from deforestation, according to WWF. Also, while 15% of land is protected all over the world, biodiversity is still at risk. Nearly 7,000 species of animals and plants have been illegally traded. Wildlife trafficking not only erodes biodiversity, but it also creates an insecurity, fuels conflict, and also feeds on corruption. The most fundamental and irreversible human impact on nature is a species extinction. Um, of more than 3 lakh known species of plants, the IUCN evaluated only 12,914 species, finding that about 68% of evaluated plant species are threatened with extinction. There is also many uncertainties regarding the COVID-19 crisis for upcoming world as well. Urgent actions must be taken to reduce the loss of natural habitats and biodiversity, which are part of our common heritage, supporting global food, water security, climate change mitigation, and adaptation. Why is this important? Our fate as a species depends on the state of our most important habitat, that is land. Land and forests are foundation of sustainable development for any country. So preserving the life on land requires concerted actions, not only to protect terrestrial ecosystems, but to restore them, promote their sustainable use for our future generation as well. So, goal number 15 addresses all and calls for urgent action to halt degradation of natural habitats, end of poaching, trafficking of animals, and integrating ecosystem and biodiversity values into local planning and development processes via different targets. Some of the targets are set globally by SDG 15 by United Nations, of ways. First is by 2020, ensuring the conservation, restoration, and sustainable use of terrestrial and inland freshwater ecosystems and the services, in particular forests, wetlands, mountains, and drylands. Promote the implementation of sustainable management of all types of forests, halt deforestation, restore degraded forests, substantially increase the afforestation and reforestation globally. By 2030, combat desertification, restore degraded land and soil, including land affected by desertification, drought, floods, and strive to achieve a land degradation neutral world. By 2030, ensure the conservation of mountain ecosystems, including their biodiversity, in order to enhance their capacity to provide benefits that are essential for sustainable development. Take urgent and significant action to reduce degradation of natural habitats and halt the loss of biodiversity. And by 2020, protect and prevent extinction of threatened species. Promote fair and equitable sharing and benefits arising from utilization of genetic resources, and promote appropriate access to such resources as internationally agreed platform. Take urgent action to end poaching and trafficking of protected species of flora and fauna, and address both demand and supply of illegal wildlife products. By 2020, introduce measures to prevent by 2020, integrate ecosystem and biodiversity values into national and local planning development processes, poverty reduction strategies and accounts. Mobilize and significantly increase financial resources from all sources to conserve and sustainably use biodiversity and ecosystems. Also, enhance global support for efforts to combat poaching, trafficking, and trafficking of protected species, including including by increasing the capacity of local communities to pursue sustainable livelihood opportunities for them. Last but not the least, I would like to mention that some photos and the data used here are not owned by me. All due credits to them. And thank you everyone for your kind attention and patience. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you very much.